Hey, so welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to the Help One Person Every Day YouTube series where I'm interviewing miraculous people. And I have someone here today that is very interesting and a little different than the topics that I'm used to working with, but something that I've been wondering and thinking about for a while is hypnotherapy, especially in such as habits that I want to overcome or habits that I want to gain. So I'm really excited to be talking about this person that is here today because maybe I can get some of those questions asked. And I'm kind of nervous about hypnotherapy. He can eliminate all the myths that are and everything. So I'm speaking of none other than the Michael Mezmer. Now, let me just start by reading his bio. Michael Mezmer received his initial hypnotherapy training at the Hypnotism Training Institute in Glendale, California, under the direct instruction of his mentor, the legendary hypnotherapist Gil Boyne. He has also participated in an internship achieving the clinical hypnotherapist level with the American Council of Hypnotist Examiners, as well as specialized certifications as an ACHE stress management consultant. In addition to his training at the Institute, Michael holds a degree in psychology from the California Coast University. For the past 8 years, Michael has exclusively been hypnotherapist consultant to the Unger Concierge Medical Group in Rancho Cucamonga, California. Welcome so much, Michael. I'm so excited that you're here and maybe a little nervous.
Well, don't be nervous.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here too.
I know you have some fun things for us today. So before we get into the topic, what I really want to know is how does one decide that they're going to get into hypnotherapy? Like share with us a little bit of your story.
Well, I started out in life being an entertainer. I toured around the world to 25 countries. And in touring, I actually saw a lot of demonstrations of trance over in Asia because I spent about 4 years in Asia and China and Malaysia, Indonesia. And for instance, in Thailand, they have the Kinjay, where they actually put spikes through there. It's combined with religion and religious experience. And they put spikes through their cheeks and they walk around for 24 hours in the streets, showing that the spirit of their God has entered them. And then they pull them out at the end with no blood, no marks. And then in Indonesia, yeah, it's crazy stuff in a way, but it's really amazing. And then in Indonesia, I saw the same thing where, but in a different way, where they have what they call the horse show. And they turn a person into a horse and they whip them, but there's no marks. You don't see any marks, but they're really whipping them. And then they end up eating a light bulb. Now, I've been a magician all my life, so I understood how magic could work. But when they ate the light bulb, it was legit. And so the thing is that it inspired me because I thought, you know what, this is amazing stuff. So when I came back to the States after touring for all those years, I decided to get an education in psychology and go to the Hypnotism Training Institute in Glendale. And as you mentioned, I studied under Gil Boyne. Now, he was legendary. He was a game changer for hypnotherapy. And matter of fact, he worked with Sylvester Stallone when he had a mental block on trying to write Rocky, and he helped him to write Rocky. And worked with Dolly Parton and a lot of people. So I studied under his tutelage and got my clinical hypnotherapy rating. And since then, I've really gone on to do some great work helping people. And I also, last year was the past president, now past president, was the president last year of the American Council of Hypnotist Examiners, which is an actually international membership. We have hypnotists all over the world, from England to Switzerland, all over part of that organization. So I've really been intense with that. And then most recently, as you mentioned, the past 8 years, I've been working with the Younger Medical Concierge Group here in Rancho Cucamonga, California. And I've helped people with breast cancer. I've helped people with phantom limb pain, people from the war, soldiers that have phantom limb pain. I've worked with cancer patients in other areas too, besides the breast cancer. So, and of course I do general confidence building, etc. And so, yeah, that's how I kind of got started into the hypnosis and hypnotherapy realm.
Wow. So you talk about like helping breast cancer patients. So what were you doing with them? Just to like accept their diagnosis or?
Negative. No. Not accept. It's learning how to use your mind, your subconscious mind, to overcome your bodies or to help your body. I mean, honestly, hypnosis is great for pain control. It's great for surgeries. It's also great for controlling blood flow. But Dr. Bernie Siegel actually pioneered using hypnotherapy and techniques of that nature to help with people with cancer, any kind of cancer. He believes there's not any kind of cancer you can't overcome. But again, you of course have to do what the doctor says, all the things, but it's an additional modality of treatment that will actually enhance anything you're already doing and help you to strengthen your body and your mind to overcome the issue.
So I can imagine that everybody doesn't get hypnotized because maybe there's stigma about it. I mean, has that been your experience? Like, why are people so hesitant to be hypnotized? I mean, I know I have my own fears.
Well, I think there's a lot. I think the media, books, comic books, movies. I mean, I'm sure you might have seen, maybe you've seen Get Out, the movie Get Out.
Yes.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
yeah. So those movies and things like that make you think hypnotism and hypnotherapy is about controlling your mind. People don't understand. Hypnosis is not about a person controlling you. It won't work that way. The only way it works that way is like in Russia, where they use hypnotic drugs along with hypnosis. But hypnosis on its basis is a natural, God-given ability to relax. And so what it does, it empowers you to take control of your mind. I think a great saying I heard one time was hypnotherapy because you have the right to change your mind. So that's what it is. You're not giving up anything. You're in total. In fact, when you're hypnotized, you're actually in more control of your mind and body than you've ever been before, because you're so focused in on that moment and your mind is so powerful at that moment. So the hypnotist helps you to do it, but they're not making you do it. See, there's a difference between helping and making. No one's making you. You can't make anyone do anything. In fact, with any of the issues that I work with, people have to choose. Just like I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of drug rehabilitation programs where the person has to make the choice that they're going to make the difference and change in their life. Same with hypnotherapy. If you're not wanting to make that choice and use hypnotherapy for it and allowing yourself to do that, no one can control you or make you do that. In fact, when you're in hypnotherapy or hypnosis sessions, unless you're a natural somnambulist, there are a small percentage of people that are, where they drop in hypnosis so deeply they lose, track of where they're at or what they're doing. But generally, most hypnosis sessions, you're fully aware the entire time. You know what's happening. You're just choosing to do it because you know it's going to benefit you and help you to become better, or achieve something that you want to achieve that normally you can't do using just your conscious part of your mind.
Okay, so help me understand this. So, because I hear the term like you can't be hypnotized unless you allow it. That's the power of suggestion or something like that.
Because it's self-hypnosis, yeah.
So someone like I said, I get rid of habits. So I want to eliminate a habit, and hypnosis is where you're helping me eliminate resistance.
No, you have to already make that choice. You have to understand it and make that choice.
Okay.
And once you make the choice, I can be a partner in helping you to use the part of your mind that you don't normally access. Mm-hmm. And that's the subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind is, think about it this way. Your conscious mind's here, your subconscious is here. What happens is, after you're about from age 1 to 7, 1 to 11, but usually 1 to 7, everything that people say to us, everything we experience, we accept without a wall, okay? It's uncritical acceptance of ideas. So what happens is, for instance, here's an example. When you're little, you're in the car with your mom or dad or something, you're singing to a song on the radio and you're so happy, right? Well, your dad or mom says, could you stop that noise? I'm trying to drive. Well, then from then on, you may believe, I don't sing, I make noise. I can't sing. I'm not good at singing. So that went in there and you accepted it because it was someone from authority, and you didn't have that safeguard. After you're about age 7 or more, you develop the conscious part of your mind, which is like a sort of like a protection that keeps you from accepting things without deciding first what you think is best for you using your critical part of your mind, or the critical factor. So that's what we deal with in hypnosis. We move that aside briefly for a small amount of time, and then you can reprogram that subconscious in a positive way, if that makes sense to you.
Right. And so hopefully not to sound insulting or be insulting. So when I first heard heard that I was going to be doing this show, all I could think about is the Dr. Phil panel or the hypnotist that comes to the college fair. And
Sure.
is that a mockery? What is that?
Okay. First of all, I do stage hypnosis also. And the deal is, like with psychologists or anybody else, there are bad people that do it and there are good people that do it. There are people that are less skilled and people that are more skilled. There are people that have morals that do it and people that don't have morals to do it. So, and there's people that have faith-based and people that don't have a faith base that do it. So the deal is this. I would say, just like with anything, psychologists, even doctors that do surgeries, everyone, because there's doctors that do surgery because they want to make the money and you don't even need the surgery, right? So they're in all phases of health and helping people through health issues or any issue in life, even a car salesman. They're good car salesmen, they're bad car salesmen. So the deal is, it's really dependent on the person. For me, when I go out and do my stage presentations, it's a way of educating people through fun that hypnosis is a powerful tool. And so I've helped a lot of people through the years that way. But there are stage hypnotists, probably a good percentage, just like with everything else, 60 or 70%, that are not well trained, that are not out there to do anything but make money. My goal whenever I go out to do that is to help people understand hypnosis and to maybe approach me on a deeper level so I can do my hypnotherapy and help them with issues. So that's really the difference. And, you know, the key factor of the stage hypnosis show, because you mentioned that, people often think that people that come up there are being controlled. It's just like any other hypnosis. They are not being controlled. People that come on stage there are seeking a release, just like people that come for hypnotherapy are seeking a release or help. They're going up there to get rid of their stress, maybe, or maybe they never had anybody pay attention to them in their lives. So they come up to get that attention on stage, which is wonderful, right? Because they're able to do that and have fun and not take responsibility for it. That's why you think that people are controlled, because most people say, oh, I didn't remember what I did. Most people remember everything they do in that show, but they simply want to do it because the more they do it, the more wonderful they feel. And at the end of the show, they feel great because they did something they never could have done in a normal circumstance. So every stage hypnosis show, if done properly, is a group hypnotherapy session, except it's done under the umbrella of entertainment and with a lot of fun. And you're also, in doing that, the audience laughs a lot. So they're getting laugh therapy. So everybody's getting a wonderful, positive experience from it if it's done correctly, just like with any other modality of treatment in medicine or anything else.
Yeah, that's great. And so I assume you see your patients like one-on-one. Has the pandemic affected you at all? Can you do hypnosis like how we're doing it, like video to video?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in fact, my new CovidNosis program, the CovidNosis Hypnotherapy, the Ultimate Pandemic Relief Program, I do by Zoom. So it's totally COVID compliant. And we do 4 sessions, and I work with the 3 main issues of the COVID pandemic, and that's stress. And then I work with sleep issues on the next meeting. And the final meeting, we work on a combination of confidence and weight control, because those are both with the COVID thing. We're all dealing with weight issues because we're not out doing as much exercising. So yeah, the answer to your question, yes, I do hypnotherapy via Zoom, and it's very effective. But I do miss having one-on-one contact with my clients because, you know, that's always wonderful too.
Great. Now, okay, so can anyone be hypnotized? Are some people more susceptible than others?
Everyone can be hypnotized. Some are more able to do it more readily than others, depending on their psychological makeup, etc. For instance, when I work with Asian clients, they tend to think in numbers in a different way than we think. They think in numbers and shapes and things like that. They're more practical, I guess, in the way they think. So you have to approach it differently. I have different methods of hypnotizing people. The induction is the part where we actually put people into the pleasant state we call hypnosis. And so when I do that, I have different methodologies. I am expert at what they call the instant or rapid induction, where I don't even say much. It happens within about 30 seconds. And then I also do the slower method, where I, sort of lullaby you into hypnosis, which we call lullaby phrasing, because it's like when your mother talked to you when you're little going to sleep, or your dad, and they read you a book. it eased you into that state. So we have that too. That's called fractional relaxation. So I can do several different versions depending on the mental makeup of the client.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I can just tell that you've spent years and years studying this, like even to break down with the different backgrounds and the different ethnicities and how
Oh yeah.
you control them. Like that's awesome. That's awesome. So you brought up CovidNosis hypnotherapy program. So
Yeah.
why is that so effective with dealing with the pandemic issues?
So many people are suffering, especially because of not being around people, the distancing, kids that are not in school are not, they're having difficulty with that because they're not with their friends and they're in an abusive environment. Parents are having difficulty having the kids home with them, or business people who used to interact. And as a business person myself, interaction's awesome, right? And this is great what we're doing right now too, but it's not like the one-on-one exchange, that human energy, right? And so all those distancing issues, and right now there's a great danger that, well, already the increase in suicides is immense.
I heard about that. Yes.
Yeah. So and they have a thing called deaths of despair. They've actually pointed to, and it outlines all that we're talking about. And so hypnotherapy, I can reach you in your home. I can reach your mind. I can help you to have a more positive and productive future by doing that through working with you in your subconscious. So it's a really powerful tool, and it really is exciting to work with people through the Zoom, because I've never done it until we started to get into this situation, and I'm loving it. It's great, and so are the clients.
Yeah, perfect. So when somebody comes to your CovidNosis program with the 4 sessions, do they have to come in with an issue, or is the program, are you teaching this the same thing every time, or?
No, they don't have to have specific issues, because I think everyone, you must have stress, you must have sleep issues on occasion.
Right. Yeah.
You must have you must be struggling with weight issues too. So you look terrific. I'm not saying that. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
But I know that I've gained about 15 pounds since this thing started. So I know that most of the people I've worked with, whether it's 5 pounds, 15 pounds, or 20 or 30 pounds, they all have some level of that. And then the confidence issue, because since we're not out, a lot of people are getting to the point where they don't want to go out, where they're scared to go out almost, because they haven't been out with people for so long. My daughter, who's a wonderful teacher, she now doesn't really like to go out much, because she's not frightened, but she's concerned. And so when you get into that realm, you need a little bit of confidence building to get back out and get your life rolling again too. So I think those 4 main issues apply to everyone on some level. So, and then I tailor it as we go along, because I listen. That's what my job is, to listen. See, that's the difference between hypnotherapy and any other, psychology professional. We don't make a roadmap. We don't plan ahead. We deal with what emerges. So whatever the client is expressing, then we go to that direction. They make the roadmap. We just help to follow it and help them with those things.
Nice. I love that. Has anyone ever needed more than 4 sessions?
I've always said that if a hypnotherapist can't get you, and again, it's really essentially 3 sessions, because the first one's an interview, right? But if you can't help someone in 3 1-hour sessions, you're probably not very good at what you do.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay.
That's how I believe. That's how Gil believed. My instructor could take someone and he could integrate multiple personalities in a 3-hour session. I mean, he was amazing. And so I learned that way. And you shouldn't take people's money if you can't accomplish a great deal. Now, if they want to continue and do a few more sessions just because they want to, that's fine. But you should be able to deal with whatever issue you promised them in those 3 sessions.
Yeah, I'm learning so much. And these sessions, are they in 1 week or 1 per week?
I schedule them based on the client's needs, but really, here's the thing. What I do is, when I do the session, after each session, they get an audio that I send them via email, and they can download to their device. And so what I want them to do between sessions is practice hypnosis, right? So the first one, they'll get for the first one, a stressed audio. Then they'll get for each one, they get a specific audio. And what happens is, as they practice it, like in life, if you're going to be a basketball player, you got to practice, right? So with hypnosis, it is self-hypnosis. Ultimately, I can help you, but you have to continue practicing it long after we work together to keep powerful with it, keep it running. So these audios, what I like to do is space at least a week between if we can. But if a client's really anxious, really wants to get to work, and we can do them back to back, but it's best to have about a week between. So I give them the audio, they practice for 6 days, then we go back again, they practice for 6 days. So what it is, you're gaining a skill. You're not just it's not like going to a doctor and I give you pills and you don't know why they work or anything else. I'm giving you a skill to unlock the internal relaxation system that God put within all of us. And you're unlocking that with the skills that I teach you through these sessions.
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. Okay, so let's have a little fun. So what was the most unusual experience you've encountered hypnotizing someone?
Well, I've had a lot in my career, but I think probably the most unusual. I was coming out of Dallas one time from a seminar, and there's a lot of electrical storms when you fly out of there on certain parts of the year. Now, this was a while back. This was in Southwest Airlines when they had seats that faced each other. This was about, I don't know, a decade ago. Anyway, we were flying. The plane was shaking up and down like this. You know what I'm talking about? Dropping down, dropping up, shaking.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
It was like in that movie or that Twilight Zone with Liam Shatner where he sees the monster on the wing, So only the monsters are in our mind, but it's the same concept. So anyway, there was a lady in the front. She had a towel, they got her a wet towel over her neck. They had a bag. She was turning white. And I happened to be 2 seats back. I talked to the flight attendant. And in those days, it was a stewardess, but now it's flight attendant. But I'm just framing it to the timeline. So in any case, I said, if she wants help, I'm a hypnotherapist. I can fix it for her. Just ask her her husband, see if they're interested and blah, blah. Her husband was sitting across from her. So she walked up and told them, and they agreed. So her husband came to my seat. I went in front of her. I spent about 5 to 7 minutes with her. And for the rest of the 2.5-hour flight, she was drinking and laughing and having a great time. Wow. And everybody on the plane said, "Can I have some of that? Because I want to. Can I have some?" I said, "No, I just did that to help her." And when we got off the plane, her husband thanked me and shook my hand and said, "Thank you so much." And so that was a very unusual situation. Now I'll tell you one other interesting one. Are you an animal lover, or do you like animals?
Yes.
Okay. So I work a lot of county fairs in my stage presentation, and I was at Gila County Fair in Arizona many years back. And, it's never a perfect situation. It's not like when I work casinos in Vegas or something. It was, we had the cow pens were right next to the stage, and there was a dog and cows. During the induction, or the part I told you about where I actually hypnotized, I used the lullaby kind of slow hypnosis, and all the cattle went to sleep during the show. Then at the end of the show, and the dog too. Then at the end of the show.
Wait, you can hypnotize animals?
Oh, animals respond.
I've heard it all.
No, it's true. Wow. I don't do that kind of work, but
right.
But it works really, really well. Then at the end of my show, when I brought everybody out of hypnosis, the dog and all the cattle came out of hypnosis, and that's the honest truth. That happened, and they're still talking about it to this day.
That is awesome.
There's actually hypnotists. There's hypnotists that specialize in working with animals and helping calm them.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not one of them because I like working with humans, but right. I love animals, but I like working with humans, Yeah. So, but it works great, So, anyway, I have a friend that does it.
Okay, so right now you're kind of you're focused on the effects of COVID. But majority, what type of clients do you see and do you help? Because I know you were talking about cancer, but like do you help? Do you mostly in your career have help like marriages or smoking or habits? Like what types of people do you help the most?
Well, I've had a lot of people stop smoking. I've had a lot of people lose weight. I've had a lot of people gain confidence. I've had people come back years later. I've had young people on my show. Years later, their parents come back to me and say, when she was in your show, before that, she was so shy, blah, blah. And then she went on to do great things in college and be successful. And I can't thank you enough because you totally changed her that day. And that was just from a hypnosis show. So there's a lot to be gained through the confidence building. But yeah, weight, sleep, confidence, stop smoking. I also help sales forces. I work with Caldwell Banker and a lot of groups to up their sales force to do a better, more effective job and be more confident in that. So there's a lot of ways hypnosis can help. It basically will elevate anything you would like to help make more powerful in your mind and in your life, and being successful and being positive in your thinking.
Yeah, like for me, and I know before we hit record on this video, I was telling you, like, I don't like video. I do it because I know it helps my audience and I know it's going to help my business and it makes the biggest impact, but it's kind of mentally draining and I have to psych myself into it. And like, I would like love to work with you one day on how can, I just get to this place where I want to do a video, I do a video and the confidence is there.
I will tell you just a small secret. It's reframing terminologies in our minds.
Okay.
For instance, would you say that there's a level of nervousness going into doing your show?
Nervousness.
Are you ever nervous about things like that? What is the reason that you don't? Is it just that you?
I probably have to dive into this a little more, but
yeah, we'll have to do that.
Yeah, but I think one of my blocks is that in the past I was mentoring out east, and I guess people out east talk a little more proper than people in the Midwest. And I have never had anybody say anything about how I speak, but I was almost replaced because I wasn't, saying certain words properly. Wow. So that kind of made me scared.
There's a lot of components to that I don't like. But I won't even go into that part, but I think that I will just tell you this, from my experience, the people that are best at what you do are people that are natural and just themselves. You can, if you put on what we used to call in the old days, I'm an old guy. When we used to go in the old days, we say putting on airs, and when you try to be something you're not, you'll never be successful. So there's no reason you shouldn't increase your vocabulary. I work on that all the time.
Right.
And so, but beyond that, if you don't talk your natural self, people aren't going to relate to you. They're not going to want to experience what you give. So I think you're doing excellent. I told you before the taping tells me where I'm at, before the video, that truly, I've watched 6 of your programs now, and I think there was a joy I got from watching them just because of the way you approach what you do. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, so that's like one of my nervousness. It's like, am I going to come in and say something and be called out?
I think all of us feel that way to an extent. I mean, it's just natural, I guess, would be the answer, Right. But I think that's not a big deal. You don't have any. I wouldn't even call that an issue. It's just a growing. It's a matter of a growing experience, and it's like with everything. The more we do something, the more we get better at it, and the more we feel comfortable at it. So, I think you're doing wonderful. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming here. And I believe you had a demonstration for us.
Well, I wanted to go do a couple things just to give you an idea of hypnosis and how it works. First, I'm going to show you how our minds work. For instance, I told you about the subconscious and how we're pre-programmed with things from when we're young. Okay, so let me show you something about that. Okay, I'm going to get something out of my pocket, and I won't tell you what it is. And I'm going to have it in my hand. And can you tell me what might be in my hand?
Okay, so I'm looking straight at the camera, but now I'm going to look at your screen. So if I turn my head, and I'm telling you in the audience, that's what I'm doing.
You don't have to really see it. That's the point.
Is it
I got something out of my pocket. It is keys. You said keys?
Yes.
That's right. It's keys. Now, how did you know that I had keys in my hand? I didn't show you them.
Well, I saw a piece of, I don't know, it was in your hand, so it was small. And then
it came out of my pocket.
I saw a piece of the black thing, and then I was like, well, maybe that's a clock? Then my mind just was like, no, it's not a clock. I think it's keys. So I said,
You know
keys.
why? You know how that works?
No.
Because because when you're young, your subconscious saw keys every time somebody got in the car and started the car. And they made a certain noise and they had a certain look, and they come out of a pocket. And that's how our mind works. That's the subconscious mind. You were able to identify that by the information that was programmed in your subconscious mind long ago.
Wow.
So that's an example of why your subconscious mind has certain control over your body with negative or positive thoughts that were programmed before you had your critical factor that threw them away. You see how quickly you could identify those keys? Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to show you how you can respond to that. Okay. I have to get something. Let me just grab this. Hold on.
Sure.
So you're going to see how your mind responds to suggestion based on subconscious programming. All right. So what is that?
A lemon.
Right. Now I'm going to cut into this lemon. I just got it off the tree. Oh, wow. It's really juicy. You might want to look at the video real quick to see. Look at me. So you see how it really, can you see the juice dripping off of that lemon? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that lemon, keep looking, and oh man, that is really juicy. So I'm going to start sucking on this lemon. That is really sour. Yeah. Man, I can't. Okay, so you can look back at me now. So when I sucked on that lemon, did you get a sour taste in your mouth by any chance?
My mouth started sour. Yes, it
Right.
started as soon as you said, I'm cutting into this and it's juicy, and it just started.
Yes.
So yeah.
Right. So you see how suggestion combined with subconscious can create a physical reaction in your body. Do you see that?
Yes. That's good.
Okay. So you're beginning to understand how hypnotherapy and hypnosis can affect your physical body using suggestion and what's in your mind and combining that, right?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to take one more demonstration, okay? I won't go too deep today because I don't want to get too complex here. But this one, I'll need you to look at the screen again for it because you're going to do it too, if that's okay, all right?
Yeah.
So, and everybody out there watching, I want you all to do this, okay? So in a moment, I'm going to have you put your hands together like so, lacing your fingers. Don't do it yet. Wait till I tell you. But I'm going to have you lace your fingers together like this. Then I'm going to have you put your fingers about 1.5 inches apart. Lock your elbows out like that, okay? Then I'm going to say ready and now. When I do, you're going to find that your 2 fingers are going to start to pull together. Just like there's an invisible force pulling together closer and closer. So most of you will have your fingers touch, all right? Okay. All right, sit up straight, Aprille, and put your hands together like I showed you. Interlace your fingers. Put your 2 index fingers out like I showed you, like that. Good. Point your fingers towards the camera. And ready, and now. Watch those fingers start to move together.
Oh my
Watch them go closer, closer.
They did. I don't know if you could see it in the camera because I was so close, but I'm like, they're not going to do that. And they did.
Yeah, I know.
Like, nope, they're not going to do it because he told me they were going to do it. So I'm not going to let it. And it happened anyway.
Yeah, and now that suggestion's permanently in your subconscious and everyone else that watches subconscious mind. Anytime you try that, you won't be able to resist it. And it'll always be
That's
there.
crazy.
Yeah. So what we did is I took you through some steps like I do in our sessions. You now understand that you can actually respond to the suggestion I give you, and that your body will respond to those suggestions in a positive way. And that's exactly what we do in a therapy session. And that's how we help people to change their mindset and then in turn change their physical internals so that they can actually, do well. Like we're talking about the cancer issue. It's much deeper than this, but that gives you an idea of how that can affect your body with suggestion, positive attitude, and trusting the person you're working with. See, we talked for a while, so now you trust me to an extent. Yes. So you're open to be willing to do what I asked you to do, and bam, there it is, right?
Yeah, that was awesome. This whole interview was awesome.
A little different, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it was. Definitely. But I loved every bit of it. And so if we want to learn more or just get help with you personally, well, through Zoom with all this COVID everything, how do we get in contact with you?
Well, they can either call me direct at my phone number, which is 951-315-1942, which I guess will be in the comments below this. Yes.
Yes.
Or they can, great. And on my website, it has my email and everything,
Okay.
but it'll be on there also on the notes, but it's hypnomezmer@hotmail.com. And then the main website, if you want to find out about CovidNosis or any of my therapy work, is www.covidnosis.weebly.com. But all that's going to be right there on the notes right under this video. So make sure to open those notes if you're interested and get a hold of me.
This has been fabulous. I would love to host well, I don't know if you could do Clubhouse, or is there a way you can do hypnosis just through voice, or do we have to have visual?
No, I can do we can do visual or voice. I mean, I do audios, so I can certainly do audio too. So if you're doing podcasting or anything else, but I'd be happy to work anytime with you. You're wonderful.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Awesome. So everybody, go to his website, go to Michael's website, get the help that you need. This doesn't have to be woo-woo. If you need to show up more on video, like my issue, which I'm showing up, but I would love more confidence. Or if there's you need to start that morning routine, or that after or before bed routine, or anything that's going to help you in your business, this is the man right here. He can help you. I am convinced.
Thank you.
I am convinced. Is there anything you want to leave our audience with, one little snippet of advice or anything before we go?
Well, just that in life, you know, every journey starts with a few steps, and you may feel that you can't, that you're having a difficult time, that you're struggling, that you can't achieve your dream. Let me tell you, Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, you can do it. And I've always believed that. And I think hypnotherapy is a wonderful way to help you along that pathway. And I would love to help you with your dream.